Hello and welcome one and all. This is Old School Gamer 1971 here. Millie, Lloyd, everyone, hope you're all having a great day. If you would, please like and comment. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Support the channel and help it grow. Today's thoughts is on Metal Gear Survive. I've been playing this game for around 3 hours and this is what I think. Metal Gear Survive is an action-adventure survival game developed by Konami. It was released for the PlayStation 4 in 2018 in what is the first Metal Gear game since 1990's Snake's Revenge to not have Hideo Kojima involved for the development team. Taking place between Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain, you play as the captain, an MSF soldier who enters a parallel dimension to find a cure for a virus that turns the infected into zombie-esque like creatures. Konami was founded in 1969 in Japan. Originally they were a jukebox rental and repair company. They made their first arcade cabinet in 1978, exporting to America the following year. They released several classics, Frogger, Scramble and Super Cobra, releasing several games for the Atari 2600 and later on the NES, and several conversions of their games for home computers, including Gradius, Contra and Metal Gear. They fast became a beloved developer, with series such as Castlevania, Metal Gear and Pro Evolution Soccer. They are still around today. Whilst they seem to have lost their way the last few years, there is talk of a Silent Hill soft reboot and sequel. Fingers crossed it's not another bloody pachinko machine. Following the events of Ground Zeroes, the survivors buried their dead at sea with the help of the UN. One of the UN members asks for the body of a fallen soldier. A short time after the attack on the MSF, a large wormhole opened above the base. Though the soldier was able to avoid being sucked into the wormhole, their left arm was severed as it closes. 6 months later, the soldier awakens. He has been infected with an organism from DT via contact with the wormhole, which restored his arm, but he now has a higher threat of infection. He is instructed to cure those who comes through the wormhole. So is this Metal Gear Survive or is it Clockwork Death? Whilst not Metal Gear 5, thought I would get that out of the way straight away. This is still pretty good graphically. It does have a different palette to the Metal Gear game, especially once you go into the other dimension, that is. At the beginning on the ship, it does have that Metal Gear flavour to it. However, in the other dimension, the hordes are quite big and are dangerous. Not quite Days Gone big. Being able to craft and upgrade your weapons, even the combat, just all looks great.
Your gear? A Mother Base survivor? Hey, you okay?
The sound is good. The gun sound meter and the voice acting is pretty good, and the music fits the subject matter well in the cutscenes anyway. This really helps with the atmosphere. Because this is an open world survival game, it has to have a good soundtrack or it would take you out of the atmosphere. You could use Spotify, but feel that it would detract from the game. This also works very well in multiplayer. The opening section is single player only, so it helps you get to grips with the controls before putting you in with your buddies. With using the Metal Gear 5 game engine, you cannot help but draw comparisons, add in some survival mechanics, and we have a pretty good gameplay. I will say that something feels missing about this product, but it is not this. Its controls are responsive and the hordes are a threat. To me, they done the game a huge disservice by tacking on the Metal Gear moniker. Should have took off those cutscenes and called it Journey into Dimension Z or something like that. But the gameplay is good enough for me. I've sure as hell played a lot worse. Being honest, this is where I felt the game would fall flat on its face. Metal Gear has atmosphere. This is not a Metal Gear game, and again I underestimated this game. With the action opening, there's a lot of cutscenes by the way, where you die, where you're resurrected, and where you're sent into another dimension. But once you are there, you find your first infected person, then you run into your first horde, and at this point I realised there was an atmosphere. It just wasn't Metal Gear atmosphere, and it did continue on from there. I went into this game thinking this was going to be less than nothing, and instead found a competent game. Compare this to a Metal Gear game and you will be hugely disappointed. Kojima's magic is the missing thing from this game. Without the Metal Gear moniker, I think the game would have been better received. The game is not without its problems, and yes, it did use the same game engine as Metal Gear 5, but I had fun, and certainly worth the £4.80 I paid for it. So Metal Gear Survive this most definitely is. I'm off to tell Konami to sort it out. If you are hearing this, you've made it all the way to the end of the video. Thanks for your support. Give it a thumbs up and comment if you enjoyed the video. Please share everywhere as it helps the channel grow and puts a big old smile on this old face. Leave your suggestions down below in the comments. Enjoy your day one and all. This has been Old School Gamer 1971, signing off.